how do you have an idea and not share it?
Oh, let me grab something. I'm gonna grab. It's on my desk, and this is my little pile of post-it notes where ideas go to die. So, what? Because my here's my natural inclination. I have an idea, and I want to talk with someone about it. I love ideas, and of course, the intention with this kind of accidental diminishing is, oh, I don't think my ideas are better. I'm just going to toss out ideas, and other people will play with them, or they will build on them, or they will like it's a brainstorming session. Let me get it started and other people will build on it. Well, what happens is that people then run around and go do those things. And then it's very confusing to the organization, or people become idea lazy around people who are idea rich. Like, I don't have to worry my pretty little head. I'll just go walk down the hallway to Liz's office because, like, she's got ideas. Let me just do one of those things. So, what I've learned is that it's very disfocusing and confusing for people. So, what I do is when I have an idea, um, I write it down. I ask myself this question, Liz, do you want people to stop what they are working on and work on this? If the answer is yes, like I phone someone up, like, hey, but if the answer is no, I write it down. I usually stick it on my monitor for a few days, maybe a couple weeks. And then if like we've moved on, it's not a revelation. I just kind of put it in this pile of things. And I said it here just in case, I don't know, I'm ever bored one day and I want to pull out and revisit some of these ideas. But I've learned to essentially have a filter.
That makes a lot of sense, and that's a very tactical way, and for anyone who's just listening and not doing video, that was quite a big pile. So you are definitely practicing what you preach here. So what about other people that maybe are a bit too helpful? What would you say about those folks?
Mm. Yeah, I think one of the ways we see this happen a lot is the rescuer. This is the good-hearted leader that wants people to be successful, and so when people are struggling, they step in and they help. And if you've got rescuer tendencies, I think what I'll share, what my friend and colleague Adam Grant does. I've probably read some of Adam's books. Lots of people have read his books and articles. So he really loves this idea of multipliers, and uh, he might be the biggest fan that I know of the idea in the book. And he's like, because I have these accidental diminisher tendencies. He says, I'm a big rescuer. And he said, what I've learned to do is when people come to me asking for help, I remind myself kind of what I've learned is that most of the time people already have an answer in mind. And what they're looking for is validation, appreciation. Um, and he says, I remind myself that people want sympathy, not solutions. I'll share a moment. This was early on in my management career where this woman, Carla, who worked for me, she was in my office. We're having a one-on-one, and she is probably talking for 15 minutes about this boot camp that we're trying to run. So I ran Oracle University, among other things, and we have this big product release. We've got this big boot camp that is getting all of our sales consultants ready to go out and sell, support, etc. And this thing is in jeopardy because we can't find enough server space, because we have to load all these database instances on. It's a big tech heavy requirement. And she's like, we can't get the server space. The data center won't give it to us. And so I am literally picking up the phone. This was like back in the days where we had like phones with like curly cords on them. And I'm picking up the phone and I am dialing the data center. And I'm probably not even dialing, they're probably on speed dial. And I know all the leaders in the data center. They probably owe me a bunch of favors and so I'm calling the data center and the phone is ringing. And Carla says to me, she said, Liz, you don't need to make that call. And she says, you can hang up. And I'm like, okay, well, I had the head of the data center like about to answer. So I hang up the phone and she goes, I'll solve the problem. I just wanted you to know what I was working on. This was a revelation to me. Like, I'm like, wait a minute. She was giving me all of these signals like I need help. And this was really important program that was in jeopardy. But what she was saying is, I want your sympathy. Like, I want you to know what I'm doing, the rocks I'm having to move and the boulders I'm pushing uphill. I want you to know about that, but I don't want you to intervene. And it looked to me like a desperate cry for help, and it wasn't. And I'm like, oh, I need to do less and just empathize more.